Fellow alchemists, welcome back to a new little mini-series, well, just a couple of videos I wanted to do about how to use PG PubSub. So if you guys are using Postgres, it actually has a PubSub system built inside that not many people know about. I remember hearing about it, and then I didn't have to use it. It never really came up, so usually people use something like RabbitMQ or something like that. And also in Elixir, of course, you have your own little PubSub. You can also use Phoenix PubSub too. That works, of course, great. But with this PubSub, what you can do is you can actually attach it to your database. So if something happens, you can create a function or a trigger to actually send out a notification over PubSub. And I had to use that recently. I'm probably going to make a demo follow-up using that or something similar. But in this case, I wanted to just kind of show you guys what is this PubSub, how does it work, and also how you can listen for messages over PubSub. So what I want to do first is start off with actually connecting to the database. So PubSub demo dev, and I can take care of another over here called PubSub demo dev. So this is basically the PubSub over here. And what you can do is, what actually happens under the hood is that you have this listen command, and you can say listen for, it's called name the channel, we just call this one test. So this is actually listening for messages over PubSub. And for this one, you use the notify command, and you say the name of the channel. So I just called it test, exactly the same name. And then a comma, and then actually what kind of data you want to send. So in this case, I can say send, like hello from PubSub, just some text. And it's been notified, been sent over this channel. And you'll see nothing comes in over the side. What you need to do is, because this is all asynchronous, and this is actually waiting for something to happen, you're waiting for a command over here, you can just say, tell me what is now. And then you'll see now comes up. But this message is what we had. So asynchronous notification test. So basically the channel with the payload, hello from PubSub. And so you can see over here, this is how underneath kind of what's happening is that we get this notification from this channel and the message. So we can basically have our own little listener within Phoenix. And so that's what I wanted to do. And so I'm just going to exit out of here. Same, and I want to show you how you can do this. So the first thing is that of course you need to be using Postgres. Sorry. Within here they have the ability to do this because this is very specific for Postgres. So you can't get this from Ecto. And so what you can do is within here you can create maybe just create a simple gen server. So we'll just call it PG listener. So we're going to define a module, and I'm just going to call this one PubSub demo PG listener. And we're going to use a gen server underneath. And I'm just going to go ahead and actually alias what we actually need, so it's a lot less for me to type. So what we're going to be using is Postgres notifications. And I'm also just going to put the channel into here. So test channel. And I'm also going to define a custom struct just for this one. So we have a reference, and you'll see that in a moment. And of course the PID. And we need to start link. In this case, we have nothing we need to hold on to. Gen server dot start link. And I don't really have anything I need to pass in, so that's okay. And give it a name. We have our init function. Don't really care about the argument. So in here, I'm actually going to set up the listening. So what I have over here is just a simple PID, we need to link in the notifications. So this one actually has to be started up. Start link. But what goes inside over here is the connection information, and we can just grab that from our repo, actually. So we can go pubsub.repo. And it's just config. That'll have all of our information inside. Listener. So we need our PID. We also need a reference because you can listen to multiple channels over the same one. So what we can do is say notifications.listen. I'm just going to use this version. So in case it ever blows up, you know, it just blows up instead. And of course our channel. So you need to give it a PID for the little connection underneath. And of course which channel you want to listen to. And of course finally we need to actually return. So return our state. So in here I'm going to return back our little struct. So we have our PID and then we also have our reference. There we go. Now what actually happens is that every time something comes across, we actually get a message over here. So we have to define a handle info. And we should be getting a notification for the message, notification. And we're going to get our PID and the reference to which channel and stuff that we're listening to, and also the name of the channel. And finally the payload. And of course we have our state, and what I like to do is just make sure I have the right reference over here. Same with the PID, so these ones should be the same, and because we're using the same name it should be fine. And of course we need our state. And so when everything comes through, we should actually be able to say message from PubSub. And then we can just inspect that, and we can just inspect the payload. Of course, we still have to return. I think it should be no reply. And our state. And then finally, I'm just going to implement the terminate callback. So when we get terminated, don't really care about the reason. But we do just want to just turn off this stuff. So we reference this. And notifications dot, and then it just should be an unlisten. Pass in the PID plus the reference. Should be unlisten. It's okay. And let's return back an okay. Doesn't really matter what the state is. But yeah, in any case, this should be enough for us. And so I just need to take this and add this to my supervision tree. So we can just add this over here. So now, let's see if everything is wired up properly. Just have to do this one, PubSub demo repo, my fault. Okay, so now I'm running this app. Now what I can do is, with another window up here, I can go ahead and get into my app. So it should be PubSub demo dev. And now I can say notify test channel and hello from PSQL. Sorry, can't use double quotes. Single quotes in here for a string. Notify went out. And there we go. We got that coming through. And you can also, of course, you can also send JSON too. So, of course, we can just, write a string of JSON in here. Not a big deal. Later, I can show you something more complex. So, test ID, something like that. Doesn't really matter. It'll just work over the top. So you can basically send data, in JSON. And Postgres also has a JSON library or something where you can actually package up your data and send it across using JSON. And I'm going to probably do that in the next video. So this is how you can start to use this PubSub, and it could be useful if you want, if maybe you have a couple of Elixir applications that are not really related, you want them to talk to each other, they could just send messages back and forth over PubSub through Postgres. That can also work, anything like that. So this is Alan from Plangora. Please subscribe if you haven't. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks. Bye. Hi. Please feel free to ask us any questions about Elixir, Flutter, or anything else in programming. Here's our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll answer your questions every Friday. Ya mantai ge dak man all. Yo wenti ji da wen wo